Okay, I'm going to talk about DispGen. This is DispGen here. And first thing we do is we make a height map. Open Photoshop. DispGen test height map. I'm going to make it 2048 by 2048. It's got to be grayscale. And okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have my base level. Black is the lowest elevation. Now I'm going to use the brush tool. I got it set to an opacity of 10. Big brush, and I'm going to paint some terrain. This is going to be like a hole. Another hill over here. I'll smooth this out. With really sharp lines, you get cliffs. There's more gradation, and it's a smoother hill. Okay, so now I have to save it as a JPEG. Alright. Okay. Open, yeah. And this material doesn't really matter. I'm going to change that anyway. So I generate it. Bang. It's done. Open Alien Swarm SDK. Open this. Let's choose a better material texture to demonstrate. Here's the terrain. I can put a player spawn point on it. Right, just like that. So pretty straightforward way to create a terrain. Depending on the settings, if I were to make this say 64 by 64, here, let's close this. I'm gonna crash. That would give me a terrain made of 16 brushes. Now if I generate that, open it up again, it's now made as a series of seamless displacement brushes. Now the problem with that, what I'm trying to illustrate, is there's some kind of a bug. What I've noticed using these terrains is that anytime a player walks across one of these seams here, there's a chance that he'll freeze and teleport somewhere else in the map. I had that problem with some of the terrains I generated. I think it's because DispGen really displaces the triangles. If I turn off the displacement there, see, this is the actual brush that was generated. So you can see how far this top face is being displaced. I'll turn this view back on. I don't know whether this is a bug in Alien Swarm or whether it's a bug with DispGen itself, but if you make terrains, you either have to somehow put a prop, or like, this is kind of cheesy, but like I could take this guy, I could turn him sideways or something like that to prevent the player from actually touching the seams. Or I could take another displacement and I could intersect that displacement. The point is that you never want them touching these edges. If I take another displacement, say this one, if I take this displacement and I clone them like that, and then I'm going to invert the alpha so you can see it a little bit better. If I do that sort of thing, I've created a place where the player can walk without actually touching any seams. In this case, without touching this edge here. So that's just a tricky thing. It'd be nice if Valve would fix that. So it's just a limitation to bear in mind. Now, there's another thing about displacements. Every time you see a displacement, the engine renders the entire displacement. So if this is one displacement, Alien Swarm is going to render this whole thing. Even if you're just like this far away, it's going to render everything. I think. I know that it will in other Source games, like Team Fortress 2, you put in the displacement, it will render the entire displacement, even if you're only seeing a corner of it. Like if it's intersected in a wall or something, so you have to bear that in mind. The culling for Alien Swarm is a little different. Anyway, however, I made, in Mission 2 of Reduction, I made a giant single terrain piece, and it wasn't that bad. The frame rate was pretty solid, even though it was rendering a pretty big displacement. So anyway, here, let me render this thing out.
I'm ready to get it on.
So here, I put in some lighting to emphasize the terrain. Here we are. Let's see if I can run into this bug. I did have that bug. Anyway, it's just something to be aware of, but this is a way to make it a terrain pretty quickly.